I was gonna do like a whole swingers thing, like a Vegas baby Vegas, and then like I got it mixed up with Hotel California. Get in my head, and then I was like, and then I had this like write-up idea, like, oh, maybe I'll just take scenes from classic movies filmed in Vegas, but then most of the ones I thought of were just like basically domestic abuse from Casino. So
honestly, that's a great intro.
Yeah.
What you just said, nailed it.
Well, everybody, this week brought to you by the All Things Comedy Family Network. No accounting of taste. He's talking about Vegas, baby! Vegas!
Pal, you're good with words. You know that, man?
I think the gym is dumb.
Did Rachel walk in the room? Of course I've eaten a Baconator.
Man, if you ain't doing CrossFit, you can get CrossFit.
You're right. A long burger's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's your sitcom right there as a Mr. Fix-It-All who just can't fix his heart.
We will not be defending Atlantic City.
No accounting for taste. If it's something that somebody loves, let's try and celebrate it instead of shitting on it.
And we're back, everyone.
Best intro yet, Shane.
I feel like I am getting much better at these as we go along, truly. And,
we forewent the pre-written intro for just some spontaneous Shane riffing. And I was trying to think about Vegas for this one too, and it really just did come back to Casino.
Yeah. I just seeing Don Rickles get hit with a landline is pretty funny. But other than that,
oh, I felt so bad.
Yeah,
I
it looked
feel
awful.
bad for somebody that's even somebody with like it wasn't like a stunt, but just making an old guy pretend to get hit hurts my heart.
Yeah,
it makes me sad for him.
It's like it's gonna take like them like 6 to 8 weeks to recover from that ear flick I gave them.
Oh, listen. We're gonna defend Las Vegas today. No accounting for taste. My first trip to Las Vegas, I think I was like 8 years old, because my mom's straight up fiend for that city.
Oh yeah, Pat loves it, or Deb loves it.
Oh no, Deb loves some Vegas, and they to the point where they convinced my grandparents to come with, and basically just we stayed at Circus. It was the only casino that like was remotely kid friendly, but really was just drunk people throwing skee balls at the target.
Yeah, it's very like,
and yeah, they just let me and my sister loose in there for 4 days with enough money to be like, this is the best time we've ever had.
Did you guys go nuts?
Yeah, because they just had to buy us off. Because
Yeah.
outside is just nothing but sin. This is the 80s. Like, it was still Vegas.
What do you recall most from that trip?
I remember quite specifically, there was a Star Wars game, and it was rudimentary 3D or virtual reality. You'd sit in a little cockpit, but it was just green lines. Remember video games that were just green lines that would make up a shape? You're like, that's another spaceship, and it was just a bunch of green lines, because that's how it was. That was how basic it was. But that was the game that, yeah, my sister and I just played that for 4 days and then got to eat all the candy. We're like, this is a pretty good vacation. There's no beach, but pretty good vacation.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of sand, and it's pretty fucking hot.
Yeah, we didn't see that part. We did not leave.
And you guys were just alone in the casino.
For the most part, I mean, we were under the care of our grandparents, but they were also like, ooh, Vegas. So
yeah,
we were told not to leave the casino. That's all we were. That was our instruction, was don't leave the casino. That, and I remember going to the Pepper Mill, like a steakhouse. I remember being
that's like a famous place there, I think.
Yeah, and I remember like eating a steak as a kid, because they clearly knew they were doing an adult vacation, but brought children with.
Yeah, this is like they're like being a little self. It's like when Homer buys Marge a bowling ball for their wedding anniversary.
Yeah. So they had to cut us a lot of slack. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a steak. They're like, go for it, 8-year-old. So this is pretty great.
And that was like that was the beginning of your terrible dietary practices.
Yeah, you start getting gout at 8.
That's it. Yeah. It's a pretty good first memory of Vegas, though.
Yeah, between that and the secondhand smoke, I aged about 27 years on that trip.
Yeah. Oh, well, they got a customer for life.
When's the first?
I guess.
Yeah, when's the first time you went to Vegas, Shane?
the first time I went to Vegas, it's really I didn't go until like my 30s. And it's weird. It was this is very true. It was for my first TV credit. Ron White's comedy salute to the troops, an evening of star-spangled banter.
Get the fuck out of here.
So you and I both have very similar experiences. No, it was a cool. I was at
Hey Ron, can we make the title of this a little longer? We're trying to fill some time.
No, but here's this kid. It's pretty much. Star Bar in Atlanta, that show?
Sure.
I did that, and Ron White was there hanging out, like just getting faded. And he watched my whole set. I closed the show, and I was like, all right, I'm going to close on this. And he was like, do 2 more. He just screamed it. And then after, he was like, here's my phone number. Call me. I have something you'd be really good for. So that was like my first TV credit was like Ron White. Like, so very surreal, and then like
star-spangled banter.
Yeah, and I was unwrapped at the time. I had no one like showing me like, I was just happy to be doing it, so it was not ruined for me in any way,
Yeah.
And at one point it was just like, hey, now you're eating sandwiches and drinking with a guy named Scott who looks a lot like Carrot Top, because it is Carrot Top, and he called himself Scott.
A fixture of Las Vegas.
He came in.
And I'll say, he used to show up, according to Sam Talent, a friend of ours, comic. He would show up at the open mic on Saturdays. Apparently there's an open mic at the top of the Stratosphere, which is the Needle, which is this
there nothing could be
fake space
more
needle.
reductive than an open mic at the top of a place called the Stratosphere. Open mic. What a fucking cruel way to start this business.
Come rise amongst the stars to get your own shoe crammed up your ass. What a long elevator down after bombing at an open mic. But apparently, Carrot Top, much maligned, but would show up, wouldn't bring props, would just try and do some bits. Apparently, was a very nice fella to the folks around the local folks around there. So
he was really sweet when I met him. Yeah.
Here we go. We're 2 for 2 on Carrot Top on this show.
Yeah.
So there's a bonus for Vegas right now.
Yeah. Well,
Carrot Top,
he's actually going to be the guest for the
nice
Patreon
guy.
if you guys want to buy it.
Don't do that's false advertising. We're gonna get in trouble with.
Yeah, Vegas has never been guilty of false advertising.
At like 3 months into the pandemic, my mom was still trying to talk herself into why Vegas would be all right, and it was the same thing. It's like, they're doing it right though. They're just sanitizing. I'm like, casinos have never been known to be a little bit opaque about their business practices to take your money.
Yeah, I feel like Vegas, whenever there was a dip in cases, because we were peaking and valleying for so long, you would see like whenever they were intentionally scheduling like big boxing matches around when they could predict a dip in COVID cases, and then you just like, this place looks fucking like nothing is wrong. Like ever just like, like no shields on things. I saw some footage of like some casino floor. I can't remember which place, and it looked like they're like, this is pre-pandemic, right? Like not at all. Like,
you can smoke inside. They give you free booze. They want to confuse you to stay inside. Prostitution's legal. Get drugs. Yeah. I'm not surprised, and I think that's Vegas being true to form. I'm not saying it's right, but if there's one place that you want to still be dangerous, it's Las Vegas. I think there was that era of family friendly, like, God, the saddest that when you drive in from LA, that right over the border casino. What is that? Is that Prim? It's like Golden Eddies or something, and it's just like that. And it's all built around the idea that like, hey, got to take a shit before you get to Vegas. How about you lose some money here? Like that's the only reason that's there, is that it's either right before, hey, maybe here's your last chance of winning all your money back at the loosest slots in town, which is a phrase that's always That put me off a bit.
Yeah,
but
it's not my favorite thing to hear either. But
I think that's the closest you'll get to the Old West and some sort of like Russian oligarchy cabin party of like, did you want to shoot an Uzi? There you go. Have an Uzi.
there is like a little bit of like,
do it all drunk. By the way, we're gonna be drunk through all this.
yeah. Vegas does kind of offer whatever crazy thing you want to do. I'll give it that. But
Yeah.
the class level of what you want to do is debatable. I'm sure there's a nicer version of things I can't afford, but like a lot of it's like, you want to shoot guns, go to this gun range. And then there's also another version of like, well, this guy has a pickup truck and he'll drive you to the desert and you can just shoot everything with buckshot that you see, and if you kill something, that's also fine. And apparently that is a legitimate business.
Well, we're gonna get to that, but I'll say my own personal experience, like, it's not my type of place, but I'm glad it's there because it's for a certain type of 23-year-old who already has genital warts, so
Or is going to have
they're ready
them
to
real
party.
soon.
Their defenses are down. They've already been through the trenches on that, and it's got everything for that person, and for old ladies who love smoking indoors, a.k.a. Deb Kinane. Just mowing through a pack of Marlboro Ultralight 100s and losing up to $30 a day on nickel slots. That's it.
I don't understand.
She just she loves being around the lights. I met her there one time. She put $20 in a nickel slot machine. She's like, sit with your mom for a bit. I'm like, this is 5 hours.
That's 1,000.
This is 5 hours I'm sitting here for.
Oh my goodness!
So-
Do you have before we jump to the next segment? Do you have a worst Vegas story? Because I also have a heartbreaking one.
Many people do. I think. What's the worst story? I remember my friend tried to go buy weed before it was legal, and apparently they were like, it's weird that weed's legal because they used to be very harsh on weed. But they'd look the other way with cocaine because cocaine kept you awake and let you make like you'd take risks. And weed made you paranoid and you'd stay in your room. So my buddy went to like follow this guy in a parking garage, and none of us were like into coke or anything. And we're like, but we wanted weed. Like we don't know how to party in this town. And he comes back. He's like, guys, I just bought a bunch of coke. We're like, why didn't you just say no? He's like, I didn't know. I've never bought drugs in a parking garage of a stranger. I didn't know I could just be like, no thanks. So I just went with it. I do want to say the best Vegas story that I have is there's a big gang of all my friends from my hometown were going out there, and everybody was doubling up in rooms. Everybody was very, very broke at the time. And I saw my one buddy, he had like napkins hanging out of his pockets. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I took a bunch of chicken wings from the buffet so we could have them in the room for later. So he just had his pants pockets filled with chicken wings. And so back at the room, he had fallen asleep. And everybody just fell asleep eating these pocket wings. My one buddy who missed his flight out there wound up flying to LA, renting a car, and then driving into Vegas, and was so like out of his mind trying to get there. He just came in the room and he's like, I made it, you fucking bitches, and threw like a bottle or something at the wall, and the glass broke. Meanwhile, my buddy who's in the bed was just passed out. But he wakes up the next day after being completely blacked out with nothing but like chicken bones and broken glass around him. He's just like, guys, what happened last night? He thought it was some sort of voodoo ceremony, and we got so broke we had to sell his soul. But that's what happens out there.
I was like, it's pretty great. So mine's not going to compare to that, but it's pretty good. I was there. I've actually only ever been to Vegas for work. I've never gone for any kind of vacation or anything like that. But I was there doing warm up on some Netflix thing, and they were announcing one of the comics that was coming on stage. and the back door of the stage fell off when they were, yeah, and she was pregnant and it almost hit her. And she was like, "Do I go on stage still?" And then they were like, "No." And they were like, "Shane, get out there." And I had to go out there, and I swear to God, for 40 minutes, just do crowd work and do my act while they were hammering a set together behind me, like at the same time. And I was like, this is the fucking worst thing that's ever happened. I was like, and it is still, I think, one of the reasons why I do not have even like a remote sniffing from Netflix for work, because I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I can't believe I'm only getting this much. And you
should get hazard pay at that point.
Yeah, and then later that night, I was like, okay, it's over, fine, and everybody laughed it off, and it was pretty funny, honestly, and everybody was in a good mood. But I went up and met up with my buddy from high school I hadn't seen in like 15 years, and he lives out there, and he was like, meet me at Ellis Island Casino. And it's like, I think it's like a casino where people who work in Vegas go, mostly to like...
Stupid me for trying to think they would put the casinos in a geographic common sense area in relation to the other casinos.
I think that's it.
Ellis Island. I lost half my last name after gambling there.
Everybody only signs their checks with circles and X's.
But they took my kids.
Everybody in there looks like they have scurvy too.
Fuck it, you're Irish.
Met him there, and
Get out of here.
We got pretty drunk, and we used to, as a gag in high school, we had like a dumb handshake that was like 2 minutes long, and it just kept growing and growing. And they were like, he got so loaded they were kicking us out of the casino, and I had to call an Uber from his phone. And he was like all loaded, and the Uber driver was like, if he pukes in my car, it's on, he's gonna have to pay for it, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the Uber driver was being all shitty. And he goes, Shane, before I go. And he started trying to do the handshake out the window, like as we were leaving. And then he was like, oh, and the next day he called me and it was like, what happened? It was like, I had to go to work at the place. And he works at like Giada's, like Italian restaurant, that like the hot lady from the Food Network, the Italian lady. He works at her restaurant. He's like, I just smelled so bad at work, and everybody was like having to deal with all these classy people and shit. Felt pretty good, but the handshake thing made me laugh a lot.
That's got to be a liability in Vegas. Is like, well, all our employees also have access to this kind of sinful lifestyle. So
yes, I think that's
we expect that if you live here, you taper it off.
Yeah.
Well. I still have more personal stories. That could take up this whole podcast at this point.
They probably could. I got a few.
Because I've been there enough times and behaved accordingly.
And poorly.
I did go to see Rock of Ages by myself, and an old lady kept knocking over my beer. And then she felt bad for me because I was like crying at some of the Journey songs. I was just into it because I'm a big fan of the movie. And like as we walked out, she gave me $20. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm actually having a great time. But she thought like I was there by myself crying at a musical in Vegas. That something horrible went.
Divorced.
But yeah, so I left. I put it up there. I played roulette. Won like $100 off of it. I was like, best night of my life. I was there doing like punk rock bowling. I was
that festival.
So,
yeah.
And I was so sick of that shit. I was like, I'm going to see Rock of Ages.
Yeah, huge leap you took there from punk rock bowling to Rock of Ages.
Done with these Mohawk dipshits. I'm going to see some real music. Some Poison covers by a Vegas cover band.
We shot that Will Smith show there that never came out. It was like me and Patton and a bunch of other people, but it was cool and he was really nice but. They were shooting all this different kind of footage and everything. And they fucking, at the end, they took us up to this skybox and we could see the whole, like, Vegas skyline. It was really cool, And he came up and he gave every comic $500 in poker chips. And, yeah, he was just like, this is for you guys to have fun. I got to go back to L.A., but thank you so much. He's very sweet and, like, really very present for a celebrity of that, like, magnitude. Like, he remembered my name the next day and stuff. He was very nice.
Yeah.
And he gave every comic $500, and as soon as he left, every comic went to the cage and just cashed in their chips. They got right there. We were all like, "Man, I'm trying to fucking like stack this money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
You're
yeah.
wise beyond your years.
Yeah. So anything can happen in Vegas. And anything can happen if you buy this next product we're about to advertise. We'll be right back.
Vegas. The good about Las Vegas. There's 2 great Nicolas Cage movies set there. There's Leaving Las Vegas and Honeymoon in Vegas. You can kind of make them.
Do you think
2
Honeymoon in
movies
Vegas,
series if you want to,
or Leaving Las Vegas is like just a piece of fan fiction after the Honeymoon in Vegas? Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like if you just put them together, and that's and to tie it in. I don't know if we discussed that before. If you wanted to make My Blue Heaven sequel to Goodfellas, people have thought about that. It's not here nor there. I thought it was Vegas related, but it's because Goodfellas and casinos, I always get them mixy-matchy.
they're kind of the same movie.
Yeah. I often said I like to live my life much like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas, except instead of alcohol, it'd be sandwiches.
Way ahead of you, pal.
It's born. It's born of ill repute. It was a obviously Casino is a movie, but I think they kind of got the gist of why the mob moved out there.
Yeah, and why it started the way it did.
It was Wild West.
Yeah. I
let those sharkskin suits get out in the Wild West, cut loose.
I think I'm probably on the record saying like how much I don't like Vegas, but I have had plenty of fun there. Like I really, I've had it's not my time, but like I would say, I haven't done any of the tours really, so I don't know like the history side of Vegas that much outside of one of my favorite things is the Neon Museum or the Neon Graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been there?
I have not been there, but I know about it.
Yeah, so for everybody who doesn't know, it's basically a history tour of all these old Vegas using old Vegas casino neon signs and other things. So you learn a lot. Like there's that in old Vegas or on the old strip. There's this place called Binion's, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Do you know it?
Mm-hmm.
If you go, I think this is if I'm doing it right. He was the guy who started it. I think his name is Charles Binion or something like that. I probably am fucking this up, but like I thought it was an interesting. Like he was the first one who started giving away booze to people to keep them in the casino. And if you go into Binion's, it's like one of the themes is horseshoes, right? Like for luck.
Isn't it Binion's Horseshoe Casino?
Is that what? Yeah. Every horseshoe, every doorway is a horseshoe upside down, and the only horseshoe that was upright in the whole place was the one in his office. So that's like the superstition is if the horseshoe's upside down, all the luck will fall out of it. So everybody just walking in, like they're really setting a mood. But I learned that at the Neon Museum, which I thought was great.
I think the good part is like I'll go there and I the same thing. I don't like Vegas. It's not my type of fun. But then you still wind up having fun, people watching the people that do like that type of fun. My favorite spot has been there's a small little patio at Margaritaville that's right on the strip. And because Margaritaville's not cool, the kids aren't in there, so you can get a drink. I would go, again, when I'm there with Deb, she's always like, why aren't you getting drinks? Just gamble. The drinks are free. I'm like, no, the drinks are about $80 an hour if I gamble. I'll buy it at the bar. Trust me. I know my weaknesses.
Yeah.
But I would sit out there and then watch all the people going up and down the strip, losing their mind. I'm like, oh, this is a good little perch that's removed. I'm not elbow to elbow with all these nuts. But then you're watching them have that kind of fun.
And you get loaded and
being crammed into it. And you're like, oh, this city is still providing. This city is still tricking me into having a good time, even if I don't like it. Because then I'm like, look at these freaks. Look at how drunk that person is. Like, it's created an environment where the people that are there are a show of its own.
It's basically a human aquarium in the desert with no water.
Yeah, it's an affront to God, without a doubt. It's an affront to God. Their taxes are paid by the Hoover Dam.
Huh?
Hoover Dam keeps costs low for everybody
I didn't know that.
until it dries up. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, my cousin lives there. She'd be every time she's like talking about how low her taxes are. Like, thanks, keep playing the machines.
I will say the food in Vegas is fucking first rate. Like I always eat great there. Like I mean, because everything is excess. Like this is gonna sound. I was there working the cellar, and Mark Cohen was like, "Oh, you got to go to Ping Pang Pong," and I was like, "Excuse me," and he was like, "It's actually the name of the restaurant, and it's some of the best Asian food I've ever had in my life." And we went ape shit, and it was great. And one of my favorite moments, I was there working the cellar, and do you know Yamanika Saunders?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hilarious and great. They gave you access to the buffet if you worked the cellar or the carnival buffet, or they did. This was pre-pandemic, and we were sitting down talking, and Yamanika came back, and she told this story about there's this little girl like pawing all of this food, like kind of touching everything, and Yamanika goes, "You're 15. You don't need to be touching all that. You know better." And the little girl goes, "I'm 12." And Yamanika goes, "Well, you a big 12." I was like, Jesus Christ. And
You a big 12?
I've never laughed harder in my life, but I've never seen someone like own a child.
Never seen somebody install an eating disorder in a youth that quickly.
It fucking killed me. But the food is fucking ridiculous there.
I think I got the other end when I was working there as the same time I was there with Nate Craig, and he's like, every casino has a door that leads to their cafeteria. As long as you walk in there, it's classic Nate Craig confidence. As long as you walk in there like you're working the club, nobody will stop you. So we just ate at like a few different casinos, but in their employee cafeteria. And I will say the show Hacks depicted, it was a scene that I wish would have been shown in a movie sooner, and Hacks nailed it about how sad the employee cafeteria of
the EDR, the employee dining room is
just like a Cher impersonator having just some beef and barley soup. It's just quiet.
And there's like no fucking windows. Like
no, it's in the bowels of the building.
Yeah, and there's like it's also like it looks like a Luby's or like a Furr's cafeteria in there. Like
yeah,
you just
but you the regular Joe out there, you don't have to worry about that unless you want that kind of adventure.
Yeah,
that's
wild
that
you
Vegas.
guys didn't
See
get
what
in that
happens.
much trouble or none.
Well, this was years ago.
Yeah,
yeah. So the food's good.
Yeah,
you can gamble, you can get free drinks, you can all. But the restaurant scene there is amazing because here's a bunch of people that came to this city just to spend their money. How about a dining experience?
Yeah, I also. I do love buying a giant fucking cocktail and walking around with it. Like, not all the time, but like, there's something very fulfilling about like, man, I'm getting fucked up on this sugar water right now. Like,
I think it's the least American thing ever that you can't walk around with a drink in a city. This country's free. I can't just have a can of beer and walk down the street. That's some of the dumbest shit. Listen, you take the good with the bad with Las Vegas, and when it's like, here's no rules, do you want to shoot machine guns? Yes, but also like I would like to do this part. I would like to walk around with a drink. Why is that criminal in any way?
It's not.
So
yeah, they have that's a good part of the good too.
I'll straight up praise Las Vegas.
Let's get to the bad.
It's Las Vegas.
Yeah. Do you think there was a classy time in Vegas? Like, like, because you watch like movies or, like, and you have people like, like it looks regal and classy in a lot of films, like Casino, that kind of depicts like a very glamorous side of it, even though it's a mobster movie. And, like I wonder if it's just lost, and now the people that go there are such human fucking trash that it's ruined it, or if it. I guess it was always scummy, I'm sure, but I don't see a lot of like. When you go back to a like casino, everybody's wearing in that movie, everybody's wearing a suit when they're gambling and they're going to shows and they're dressing up. It's not like two assholes like you and me with cut off sweatshirt sleeves and flip flops on.
I think there's parts of Vegas that want to return to that because they did try to appeal. Like, no, it's for everybody. They tried to make it family friendly, and then that was like, oof, that ruined it for the people that wanted to blow a lot of money.
Yeah,
and now it's that weird, like. Nobody really knows. You might know one or two complete gambling derelicts that like Vegas, but mostly it's like, let's go to Vegas with a hint of irony of like, nobody's trying to piss a bunch of money away, but like it is lights and drinks and all and food and silly stuff. And you can go sit by a pool all day and get loaded and have a nice dinner and change and basically, X-rated Epcot Center yourself down the strip and like, look, I'm in Paris, look, I'm in Rome, I don't know if this is good or bad, but a 15-year-old urinated on everybody on Fremont Street from the zip line one time. I think that's hilarious because I didn't get peed on.
I mean, I'll say it's hilarious because it's a 15-year-old kid thinking it's hilarious, because it's also could be a 45-year-old man who's just like, this is hilarious.
Still hilarious. You put a zip line in Las Vegas that goes over people. I'm not trying to victim blame here, but
I guess it is funny, but
it's very funny.
Imagine just getting look at it this way.
It's very funny.
If someone slaps your leftover or knocks food out of your hand when you just get it, that's pretty infuriating. You're like, even if it's an accident.
Yeah.
Now, if a man pisses from above into a beer you just bought that you spent $17 on,
but you didn't because it was free.
All right.
And
no
really,
harm
how
there.
much?
You're right, Kinane. It's a good town. I like it.
You're on a zip line. How much pee is going to hit an individual? That's the best time to pee on a group of people is from a zip line. It's just a little like, oh, what was that? And then imagine seeing down the way just somebody flying with a little dribble coming out.
A little true. I think there's a few other people in Vegas who might think the best time to piss on someone is when you've paid them a tidy fee. So let's get to the legal prostitution part you're all wondering about.
You are sitting in Vegas just touching handles and money that has been in ass cracks of homeless people.
Chips with grooves in them.
Yes. Just everything in there is just a surface you interact with. A few drops of pee is nothing. If anything, it's cleansing. It probably knocked away some sort of garbage that was stuck to your body from being indoors next to just smoking with an oxygen tank next to him. I think I don't want to. I'm not saying I want to be peed on from a zip line, but if I was down there and I saw that happening, even if I got like a little sprinkle on me, I'd probably still laugh at it because I'd be in Vegas already. I'd be like, ha. Well, think of a bachelor party. It's like Vegas, baby, and then they just got peed on. You'd be like,
"That's hilarious." God. The thought of that is like somebody's like pork pie hat being filled with a rim of piss.
Yeah. I think so. That alone, peeing from a zip line.
I think the thing is
in front of a giant neon cowboy going, "You betcha."
I mean, I think the fun things in Vegas are the trashy things, and that's why it's kind of a good subject for us. Because there's no
you don't want to like Vegas.
Yeah,
you don't want to admit that you enjoy Vegas because it would say something about your character. But then you go there and you have a good time. You're like, it's not my kind of thing, but I had a good time.
Yeah,
I'd say that's like 80% of the people that go to Vegas.
I think that's most people. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Like, I mean, one of the big no's for me is that it's in the middle of the fucking desert. I hate how goddamn hot it can get there. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like, so location is not my favorite thing. Like, I truly just, like, it's, I know some people
that's
love the
why.
desert, but I really find it to be depressing sometimes. Like,
Yeah. They had to get away from all the riffraff.
yeah. And then, I think one of the other issues is everything is predatory there. Like, it's all, like,
Mhm.
I just feels, I don't know. I
Yeah, it's
feel
supposed to
weird
feel
things
that
because I
way.
do have a good time when I'm there. It's just not my kind of, yeah.
You're
What?
not supposed to feel good. It's not like, oh, you know what I like to do? My favorite thing in Vegas to do is to get up early and go to church. It's not why you go to Las Vegas. It's that you going, that should be in everybody's mind when they think about when they've gone to Vegas. That whole what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's not. That's supposed to be playful. It means you cheated on your spouse. You lost a college fund for your child. You've done
Yeah.
things that you will take to your
When
grave.
it stays
and
there, it means it's just
have
like-
sworn close friends to do the same. I forget how many Vegas stories I have until I start talking.
Yeah,
about
this
it.
is
I think
same.
I was at I don't know if it was a roulette table or there was a lady there. I think a lady of the night, but not. She wasn't charging top dollar, but she kept she said she's a masseuse, and I was like,
Oh.
like walk on your back kind of masseuse. She was not a smaller woman. And she's like, I'll walk on your back. I'm like, okay. And I just laid on the floor of, I believe it was O'Shea's. And I'm still fucked up. She just stood on one side of my back for a little while. It was not in any way professional. And I was like, you're definitely not a masseuse. I didn't give her any money. I think I did. No, I think it was. It was like $20 right now. You do the walk on my back massage. She's like, all right. And I just gave her $20. And she just stood on one side of my back.
I was approached. I was just like, I was smoking a cigarette and just like pulling a handle right before I went to bed. Like I was just kind of like ending my night and just kind of like having a cigarette and just fucking around on a slot machine. And this woman walked up to me and she goes, a working gal. And she goes, hello. I was like, hi. And she goes, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just having a cigarette before I'm just playing the slot. She goes, that's fine. Can I sit next to you? Everything was it was so awkward. I feel like it was both of our first times trying not to be in the situation. Like she was like, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to my room now. Have a good night. And she's like, can I come? And I was like, oh, my wife wouldn't like that. And I just lied. She's like, I didn't know what to do. Like we were both walking each other. We were both knew we were lying to each other about everything.
Yeah, but it speaks to your character that you still wanted to be nice to the prostitute.
Yeah,
you
it's
still
not her
wanted to
fault.
let her
She's a
down
prostitute.
easy.
Yeah. But
She
it
probably
was
needed
it was
that
such a
after
weird
taking on a whole bachelor party from Oklahoma State or whatever.
I guess the bad
She got done dealing with a bouquet of dicks in her mouth because fucking Tony from the auto shop is getting married for the third time. They decided to do it right and go to Vegas.
You're 100%. I think what I'm learning is the bad in Vegas is also the good. There's it's the same circle of the Venn diagram. There's not a ton of because it's all still pretty fun, even the dog shit stuff there.
Yeah, you can look at both sides of I don't understand why prostitution should be illegal. If you want to choose to use your body and work in a warehouse for a low wage hourly in that way, you want to ruin your back or you want to ruin a different part of your body, making as much money as you can in as short amount of time possible. But on the same note, the people that are there that might patronize those kind of ladies might be pretty shitty people. And therefore that should be a regulated business where there's some sort of safety.
There should be some safety in place. You're right about, yeah.
So to look at like, all right, here's your libertarian dreamland. Here's your absolute freedom. But then let's look at the negatives and realize that there are government regulations put into place. Again, trusting, like, I don't know why I will look at an actual slot machine with the little wheels and be like, that looks like fun. But if it's on a screen and it's fake digital wheels, I'm like, no, see, they can just make up whatever on this one. It's all lies. It's all
none of it
made up. It's not a giant glowing city, like a diorama of places from around the world because you win money.
No, yeah,
that's not how that exists.
There's a
because people are walking out going, it paid off my mortgage. No, you paid off their mortgage.
There's a famous quote about this college basketball coach. Like, he took his team, they were playing somebody in Vegas, and he looks at all the players, he goes, those of you that are old enough to gamble, you can, but I'll tell you this, they don't keep building these casinos because they're losing money.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense for that place.
If you can do it, like, I'm okay losing this much money. I was always like, I would get to the point of like, I think I could win it back. Like, oof.
That's why I don't.
The sickness.
I actually only gamble when I leave at the airport. Like, I'll play the slot machine at the airport.
Yeah.
That's how I do it, and I'm out.
Smart move. Well, we've had our opinions about Las Vegas. I'm sure I'll remember more stories, but should we go to the phones?
Yes. Let's go play in a different kind of sandbox from our callers.
Yeah, man. You know what I think about Las Vegas? I'm at a really weird point in my life. I'm in my 30s now. And, you know, I go to Vegas and I go, man, look at that. They got an Eiffel Tower. I got a dadgum roller coaster on the top of a fucking skyscraper. I mean, shit. What's not to love about Vegas? And then my mind goes.
Is this person real?
Completely different. I go, who the fuck would spend all this money for something so damn stupid? I mean, if you're going to go to Paris, go to fucking Paris, not fucking Vegas to see the Eiffel. I mean, I guess you want to go see a little bitty one and see some strippers at the same time, go ahead. But it's just
I would love to see the disappointment on someone's face if they always wanted to see Paris but could only afford Vegas and be like, this will be close. And it's just a Guatemalan fella slapping cards of hookers in their face. Like, oh, this is just like the City of Lights.
He's wearing a beret. He like shows up wearing a beret. There's a loaf of bread sticking out of his back pocket.
Yeah, you go looking for a baguette somewhere amongst the blackjack tables. You're looking for a mime with a squeeze box. Yeah. You got the wrong vacation, buddy. Oh, but something tells me this guy's got more up his sleeve. What do we got here?
Not right. But it is at the same time. I could go on. I will for a minute, I guess. But strip clubs are good. You know, that's good. But then again, itching yourself afterwards, that's bad. So I ain't trying to be funny. I'm being serious.
Well, yeah.
But
yes,
I got all kinds of thoughts about Vegas. I thought they're slow moving. I didn't think about much what I was going to say before I called this number. Probably should have. But, Vegas. God dang. It's a place where you can go and get saved and literally wake up in hell in the same 24 hours. It's a place that you can see almost everything, but everything that you see is somehow fake. It ain't the real shit. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It ain't the real shit. The strippers ain't real. The roads ain't real. The dadgum lights ain't real. None of that bullshit is real. But who the fuck am I to say anything? You mean call back? You can't do that. I don't know.
I don't think he knew he was calling the show.
He left more messages.
Oh, really? Was this like cut out audio from Leaving Las Vegas? Like, it seems like this would play over.
It's so weird because there was like, it was like a lot of fucking stream of bullshit, and then every once in a while there'd be this like beautifully crafted lines, like a place you can get saved and literally wake up in hell.
Yeah,
like a lot, Bukowski.
Tells me. Yeah, something tells me Las Vegas did not treat our friend too well.
Oh, that was a.
I hope the best for you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's still coming off the pills that he took when he was there.
Yeah. I think he hitchhiked out of town, but they dropped him in the desert, and he's using his last bar to call us.
His shirt's just wrapped around his feet because he doesn't have shoes anymore. Stepping on hot sand. Poor guy.
What?
Hey, this is E. So I love Vegas. I love Vegas because nobody cares. Nobody cares what you say, what you do, what you wear. And I think everyone needs a safe space, and Vegas is the international safe space. I once walked around the whole city wearing cat glasses. They had little dangly whiskers. Received a lot of creative comments and made some new friends. Also, I feel like Vegas was key in helping people understand the gravity of COVID. Because when you think about the number of diseases shared at Vegas at quite literally an hourly rate, when Vegas said, oh, COVID, we should probably close down, I started dividing my assets, which really just involved telling about 6 people to take care of my dog when I die. But still, I made plans. Thank you, Vegas. I love you, Vegas.
Thanks, E.
Yeah.
that is a barometer that if Vegas is going to adjust to something that's happening globally, we should pay attention.
Yeah, that's a very good point because there's not a lot that gets in their way for making a buck. So
I appreciate. I don't want to say the naivety, but thinking like a international safe space. And then she's like, I once walked around the whole city. I'm like, oh, doing what? She's like, wearing cat glasses. I'm like, that you can do that in any city.
Yeah, but I will say like that's like a fun thing for her, and I do like that she was like, you can wear whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want there, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And she stopped at cat glass. Clearly, you've never been to a puppy party.
Yeah. Also, I enjoyed her brevity and how succinct that message was comparatively.
How one sentence would end and another one would start right away.
Yeah. It wasn't just one run-on sentence. It was enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel, E, I think you need to go take a trip to International Mr. Leather to really see what wearing whatever you want looks like.
I'll go there.
Dr. Torres, Uncle Barbecue, it's Kelly from Denver. What do I think about Las Vegas? I love it because honestly, who doesn't want a sentient garbage fire willing to sell you $2 shrimp at any hour of the day?
Who's Uncle Barbecue?
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Dr. Torres, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It seems like he's throwing shade.
Yeah, like,
but
tonally it doesn't, but like again, it just goes back to the thing of like I would buy $2 shrimp at any hour of the day. Like that's not like it's all judged, but it's all shit I would do and have done.
I think what it comes down to is even if you don't like everything that Vegas stands for, Vegas will still give you a different experience tailored to what you do like. You want to just judge people? Vegas is a great place for judging people.
Yeah, it's like it is it's based on the hospitality industry, so I guess it makes perfect sense that there's something for everybody for what you want to do or what you're looking for, you know.
There's enough knowledge now. Like the Strip, the big casinos are like the party. Downtown's a little bit more mellow.
Yeah, I like that there is a knockoff version of the good version right next door of everything. So like, you know, they have like Stomp or Circus there, but in another casino they'll have like Plomp and, you know, Carnival, which is the same show. Like, so like the comparative is like to see the same thing and have it not be anything alike in a lot of ways is a pretty amazing thing to notice too. It's like watching the Clippers and the Lakers.
They had the same place we were getting the chicken wings from. We were putting them in our pockets for later. I forget which casino it was. I think it was the Barbary Coast. I don't think that's no longer, and O'Shea's got torn down and rebuilt or something. But there's all kinds of like, there's O'Shea's and there was like an Asian themed casino. They were all really shitty casinos. But yeah, they had the one casino just had Fat Elvis, and it was just a very real big dude in a jumpsuit. Didn't sing or do it, just lip synced Elvis songs, but like was checking his phone halfway through some of the songs. And that's exactly the Vegas that I wanted.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the Asian themed casino, but they had dealer-tainers, and all the dealers were also celebrity impersonators, but they put the bare minimum. Like our blackjack dealer was Prince, but he was like a Puerto Rican guy in a purple shirt. That's it. And he's like, sometimes I'm James Brown. Like he would just be whatever they needed him to be. And then they would rotate the tables and then stand on one little stage in the middle of the blackjack tables to like just half-heartedly sing a song in their character. Oh man, like that's the level of Vegas. And because it was before Instagram and all the stuff where now the irony would be celebrated.
Yeah.
So nobody would go there because, oh, the irony is just that, like, this is the kind of stuff that I like.
Yeah. I think it's like
I missed that part of it.
You're looking for the tone of like in Vegas, the part I like it has the same tone as a bad local car dealership commercial in your hometown. Like it's the same kind of vibe. Like, well, this is like cool that they're trying to make a few bucks, but it's hilariously how they're trying to do it. Like,
yeah, there's more of a like a Paul Thomas Anderson underbelly character study of these individuals.
Yes. Yeah.
That's going on. And if you like, I wonder where those places still are now that the corniness is celebrated and everybody's in on the joke. It kind of ruined it a little bit. Like, look at we're trashy and flashy, kind of like. Well, I liked it when you didn't know that you were trashy and flashy.
Yeah, I think it's like you're only gonna get that like maybe you'll get great stories outside of like being in the Vegas area. Like you need to be with a local, I think, to get some of that stuff.
They're out there. Well, I don't even think we have to.
I'm giving it a thumbs up, man. I'm just gonna say,
I think we just decided we're all gonna go to Vegas.
I'm down with it.
It's everybody's town.
Yeah,
it's the sentient trash fire that will sell you a $2 shrimp. It's heaven and hell. You can literally be saved and
wake up in hell. Poetry.
Yeah.
I think we have the title for the episode.
Yeah, I think we're going to Vegas. I think we straight up.
I'm down.
I think we failed in trying to struggle to defend Vegas, and now we're just big Vegas fans.
I say this. I got one last thing before I go. I was doing the cellar, and it was myself, Emma Willman, Dean Edwards, and Alan Havey were the 4 comics working the cellar, and we were all like walking around together. And Emma's a gay woman. I look how I look. Dean is a black guy who used to be on SNL, and Alan Havey is a 65-year-old funny actor who looks like he was alive when Bing Crosby was around. But we would walk around together, and you could see people looking at us like, how are these four friends? Like, this is a weird group for even in Vegas. Like, how do they have
Look
anything
at this
in common?
incredible journey.
Yeah. Huh. But I think Vegas is great. Now, the more I talk about it, like, it's great for 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's just talking to me like, yeah, you work Monday through Sunday. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Not a chance. 3 days. Vegas is great. 4 days. Let me choke on the barrel of a gun.
All right. Well, everybody, I hope you had fun. I'm Shane Torres.
I'm the kitty cat, Kyle Kinane.
Meow, meow. Way to go. You're owning it.
Viva, no accounting for taste.
Watch the video for Kyle's fun shirt. We'll see you guys next week when we discuss the fall of mankind and how it's actually a good thing.